It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Tonight, let us make them remember we are not afraid!
No fear, no fear, no fear. You know, even from on high, because the man, I am absolutely certain is in support of this lawsuit. You know what God does not need? He doesn't need government sanction. And if you think he does, ooh, that's a very small God you got. I'm going, are you freaking kidding me? So here we have, can we get some people of faith in there? You know, I don't know. Is the Lovolution allowed to participate? I don't know. What box do we fall in? You got to have a box. Do you need this kind of non-believer and this kind of believer? You know what kind of coalition of the willing are you trying to put together there, Mark?
Ernie, it's not about that. This thing started taking off, and it was presented as the atheists are bringing a lawsuit. And so I want to combat that notion, and I want to expand the scope of plaintiffs to say, look, this isn't about atheists. This is about Americans. Americans who value freedom. Americans who don't feel that they need the government to tell them what to do.
So I can claim to be an American. I don't got claim to be anything else. You don't got a category I got to be in?
Well, look, for our purposes, what we want to say is it's not just a group of atheists. It's a group of atheists plus a group of Christians plus a group of agnostics plus a Mormon plus a Muslim plus a Jew plus
freedom fighter. I want to be freedom fighter. Where's your freedom fighter? I didn't hear freedom fighter. I'd be freedom fighter.
They're all freedom fighters.
Yeah.
They're all freedom fighters.
Freedom fighter.
It's an issue of freedom. It's just like I said at the beginning. If the governor declared a state brush your teeth day, I'm against it, even though I'm going to brush my teeth. If the governor declares a day of no prayer, it's not the government's business to tell me or you or anybody else what to do.
I feel the same way about seatbelt laws.
Right.
Motorcycle helmet.
Right. It's all the same issue.
I mean, I may do it.
Do we really need Jan Brewer to stand up and encourage people in Arizona to start praying? I mean, who is she to encourage us to do anything? She works for us. We're in charge. She's the government. We need to get it straight again as Americans. I think we've got that screwed up.
I think it's, what kind of, Jim Sharp is the good friend of ours. In fact, he has a, secret birthday coming up, and we won't tell anybody. But the thing is, he's probably not listening. But the thing is that he is the morning show at Clear Channel. Clear Channel radio station here, KFY, here in Phoenix, Arizona, and they're war. I bet you they're cheering up and down about how we got to nuke Libya or something right now, right freaking not later. Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, these guys, okay. Now, after Jim Sharp is a gentleman that's been, well known here in the Valley. He is Kim Commando's husband. The IT computer expert that's syndicated across the country. Her husband is Barry Young. Now, Barry Young is, he and I go way back, 20 years, man. We ouch quit it, going back and forth. And I bet you, he didn't like it none too much, did he?
Well, actually, he loved it because what happened was yesterday, Barry Young learned about this story. He read it in the Republic, and he decided to not call me.
The Arizona Republic newspaper.
And not learn anything about the case, and just start making all kinds of disparaging remarks for hours about this crazy lawsuit and this crazy lawyer and speculating about what we're about and why we're doing this. So we heard that, and we sent him some emails. We said, hey, look, we're happy to come on your show. We're happy to explain ourselves. We're happy to defend what it is we're doing and to answer any questions you have about it. Well, Jim Sharp took us up, and we went there this morning about 6:30, and we did from 6:30 to 7 on the Jim Sharp show. And then what we learned was, well, don't you know, Barry Young, who never contacted us back, is going to start his show at 7 a.m. So guess who was walking down the hall this morning while I was finishing up with Jim Sharp? None other than Barry Young. So I said, "Hi, Barry, how are you?" He said, "Who are you?" I said, "My name's Mark Victor." He said, "Oh, hi." And he kept moving.
Of course he did.
So we told his producer, we said, "Hey, look, we're not going far. If he wants us to come back and talk about the lawsuit, we're hanging around. We'll come back and we'll do an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 15 minutes, whatever you want. We'll give our point of view." We sat around, we heard nothing. Nothing.
Of course not.
Until we turned on the radio and we heard Barry Young raking our lawsuit over the coals and going on his view about what he believes atheists are about and what atheism is about and what this lawsuit is about and what the plaintiffs are about, and making endless disparaging remarks. So what we thought we would do is call up his show and call in and say, "Hey, we'd like to come in. I'm sure you're interested in hearing the other side, right?"
And I'm outside the door.
Wrong. So Mike Wasden, who's a plaintiff in the case, called and spoke with Barry Young, who apparently was, maybe Mike can explain the situation.
Yes, I called in and I said that I would like to speak to Barry, and I think it was his producer that was the person that answered the phone, and he said, "Hold on." He put me on hold for a while, and then Barry answered, and I said, "Hello,
on
Barry."
air or off air?
Off air. Well, he had my mic. He had me muted. I don't know whether he was on the air or not. No, he wasn't on the air. Actually, he had me muted. And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Mike, this is Barry." And I said, "Barry," I said, "Finally we meet, or we talk on the phone anyway." I said, "We met in the hall, but you brushed past me so quickly." I said, "It didn't look like you wanted any part of it." He goes, "Yeah, I was late for the show." And I said, "I understand that." I said, "Well, Mark and I would like to schedule a time to come in and talk to you about this." And he goes, "Well, call my producer and talk to her and set up a time."
Yeah, have your machine talk to his machine.
Yeah. So I said, "Okay, I'll do that, Barry." I hung up the phone. I was going to call back, and I turned on the radio, and I hear immediately he's just raking, "Oh, this crazy atheist just called me, wants to be on my show." Guess what? It's not happening, And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "This is ridiculous. I just got the phone. He invites me to call." And
it's all theater with him. He knows where his bread's buttered. He is there for a reason.
Well,
he knows what the reason is, and he's not going to violate that reason. This is the station and the same people that Charles Goyette was a very popular talk show host there in the afternoon. Afternoon Drive, #1 in his spot. He refused to support the war in Iraq. He was not this Christians versus Islam kind of crap. And he said, "No, I'm not doing it." They called him in. They said, "We need to explain it to you. We're going to explain it to you." And he goes, "You can explain all you want." He didn't do it. He lost his job there.
Okay,
and he knew that this was going to happen. And the thing is that the mantra comes from on high. This comes from a much higher area, and he knows what he has to say.
Okay, well then this buffoon and his lapdog, or whoever her name is, I can't remember who it is, went on to just disparaging remark after disparaging remark, just tearing Mark apart. He's where did he get his law license? On the back of a cereal box, things like that. It just went on and on, and I knows nothing about Mark, knows nothing about his record, obviously.
Oh, he does.
Oh, he does. To make comments like this, it was just, he's a buffoon. The guy's just nothing but a buffoon.
And how you feel about Mark? Vindicated that Barry Young doesn't like you.
Well, I don't care if Barry Young likes me or not. What bothered me about it was the shocking lack of any kind of balance. I mean, it would have been at
journalistic integrity. You were sitting right there.
Just a tip of the hat to pretend like you're interested in hearing the other side.
Pretend.
But we could have come on. We would have been happy to talk about. They said, "Look, the lawsuit's frivolous and there's no argument." I would have been, "Hey, really? Well, let's talk about the Establishment Clause and the Lemon Test and the 3 prongs and how it affects things. And I mean, really, let's talk about the Arizona Constitution and what it says and what it means." Instead, it was just garbage. It was just endless babble for 3 hours about how my clients don't believe in anything and just craziness. And so
believe in you not telling us what to believe in.
Right. And really, the point I wanted to make was just it's a freedom issue. And that's the point that people don't get. And that's why, I wrote an article not too long ago, and it's entitled, "Are You Really for Freedom?" And the point of the article is, look, it's easy to be in favor of freedom when other people are doing things that you yourself do. So, for example, if you're a pot smoker, oh, great, you support the right of other people to smoke pot. I'm not so impressed with that. The question really is, do you support the rights of other people to do things that you think are immoral, unethical, disgusting, harmful to yourself, or just flat wrong? That's where the rubber hits the road. That's where we separate.
Like being a legislator.
We separate.
We'll be right back here on Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, Mike Wasden, plaintiff, Dick Morris, and Mark Victor, attorneys. We'll be right back.